All right, so we're going to start off with a big question, a relevant question. In these tense times, is social media still the place for politics? No. All right. Well, Sarah Jessica Parker, she was on the Best People podcast, and she explained why she's not vocal about her political views. She said that social media is not the place for conversations, complicated conversations, and she's not interested in those quick snippets about conflicts or even things like elections. So the question is, do we agree with SJP? Do you, how do you handle being political or not political online?
Listen, I agree with her, but I don't believe her. I don't believe her. But I think it's a very clever way for you to answer a very prickly question, which a lot of celebrities are being asked. Like, there are all of these big things going on for the last few years, and a lot of celebrities have been asked, like, why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you saying something? And I think a lot of them are not comfortable with it. I think SJP is one of those people. And so her answer feels very curated and very thoughtful. And then I thought about her career, and I understand why she's doing this. This woman has had a career that spanned 5 decades. She has several shows, Sex and the City, and Just Like That. Not to mention the brand deals with Garnier, Gap. She has her own production company. She has her own shoe line. And not to mention her husband is also a famous person, Matthew Broderick. He's on the big stage.
So she's doing it to be safe.
I think she's just thinking about, like, is it worth it for me to tweet something or do a little quick thing on social media when it can really, because we've seen people lose their entire career. Is it worth it for me to say this one thing because I know it can affect all of these people that I work with, all of these shows, my husband, my 3 children. So I think she's just playing it safe. And I don't blame her. I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing.
I kind of get it. Like, I don't think it's just celebrities worrying about playing it safe. I worry about that too, because I know what I don't know. And I know that in these conversations, I can step in it. I can say the wrong thing. And when I've had conversations about these political issues, be it consent, be it race-related conversations, be it geopolitical conversations, with friends, particularly friends within the groups that are affected, they're messy. I ask probably stupid questions. I lay bare what I don't know. And social media, I don't think, allows for nuance, and it certainly doesn't allow you to make mistakes. So for sure, if I weighed in, and I tend not to, and then put my phone away, I would be very worried about what's happening in those social media realms when I'm not looking.
I know, this is so complicated. I go back and forth on this. Like, on the one hand, people who have followers and followings have a responsibility to, like, they can have the power to ignite movements, to illuminate certain issues, to draw attention that might not be there. So I understand why people sit around and go like, okay, so you're afraid of, people getting mad at you online. Well, there are literally people dying around the world. Shouldn't you say something? And there's that argument. And then on the other side, there's the argument which you guys have been raising, which is that, like, for me, the biggest thing that has become illuminated in the last few years is just that social media has become the equivalent of, like, the graffiti on the bathroom walls? Like, it's a crass, inelegant space that mixes cat videos with images of dying children, like, quite frankly. And so it's like, is this the space where you can have safe conversations, where you're learning, where you're actually drawing attention? Or is it a space where more wars are being created? Because if you don't do or say exactly the right thing to the right people, then you're gonna be piled on. And I don't know about you, but I only have so much energy. And I actually think that's true for everyone. So I think many of these social justice warriors would be much better served by taking that energy and actually, I don't know, starting a walk, writing a letter to their government official, like doing, actually—
Can you do both?
You can, but there's only so much energy. And what I see is a lot of people who feel like they're doing something, and they're not actually. They're fighting with people who are actually on the same side as them, who maybe made an attempt to do something, and they didn't do it right, and then they're getting mad at them.
And
it's
they're
like,
arguing in the comments.
And then they're arguing back and forth. So I don't know. I just feel like it's a fraught space right now.
Yeah, I get it. I think the question is, what do you have to lose, and what do you have to gain by posting? And that's gonna be a different answer for every single person. And I get the reticence. I just happen to be, if you follow me, I'm outspoken. I just am.
I think we all are.
But
I think we all
politically. So I do use my platform and I make big political statements. There's a difference. What we do here as a job, we also understand a lot of the sides. We understand what backlash feels like. We actually have lived through a lot of stuff on this show because of things we have said and done. So I am battle tested. That's not for everybody. And I have a thick skin. And I also know that when you have a platform, and this is not for everybody, but for me, I feel very responsible that I have a platform of people who are like, what do you think, Melissa? And this is not this is not for the faint of heart. But I know that people look to me and say, are you an ally or are you not? And I do want to say to people, this is not for everybody.
But this is
not
about
for everybody. But let me finish.
allyship.
No,
Allyship-
but for me it is.
But I think about
for me it is.
that word
You want people to know where you stand and you feel comfortable no matter what the response is.
Exactly. So whether it's gay rights, whether it's women's rights, I'm out there and I am yelling and tagging the
Okay,
politicians.
so wait.
I am.
I just have to say, I do feel like we're lumping in a whole bunch of things. Allyship, I think of the LGBTQ+ community, of course, come from me, I don't care. I'm gonna show from the rooftops inclusivity, 100%.
Yeah.
That, to me, indigenous rights. There's no...
But that's all political.
No,
Yeah.
but that, to me, I think
It
what
is
we're talking
political.
about right now is
the
what...
private
right.
is
But
political.
what we're talking about right now, I think,
Yeah.
is the elephant in the room is what is happening in the Middle East. And I think for many people, that is a very hard thing to talk about. And people want to talk about this. And yet there is histories and there are legacies and there are complicated things going on that I'm right now, as I speak in this live moment, I'm afraid of saying something. Now, should I be afraid? My God, the people who are afraid are the people who are being impacted by war. I feel like a jerk even expressing my fear. Who cares?
But there's this
But I
tribalism.
don't believe that even me retweeting a picture of something horrifying is actually going to move the dial forward
No, it
towards
doesn't.
peace.
No, I agree
and
with you.
I'm interested in peace, and I'm interested in learning, and I'm interested in conversations, and I'm interested in donating money, but I don't think I'm interested in having dumb conversations on
Online.
social media.
Yeah, you make a great point, and I'll say this much. We're expected with the job that we have to do that. We have to think about her job, and I'm just curious. I've obviously not seen her contract, although I'd love to. She might have it in her contract that she's not allowed to say these things on social media platforms. We have to remember that because it's just not her; it's her entire brand that she's going to affect, and thousands of people. So I think maybe that might be a reason why she's not saying anything as well.
Yeah.
I guess I would just add that I think there's many ways to be an ally. You know, I think if you look at someone's feed, I don't post politically, but I have a queer sister who I love. I have a boy who runs around in skirts. Like, I think there's different ways to assess someone's political leanings. And I guess the thing that worries me is that people use these posts to virtue signal that they are an ally without actually doing
Any of the work.
And so that's what concerns me.
Yes, a lot of hashtagging, baby. Hashtags and
I
no
think the
work.
activism, there is a verb in the word activism, and it is act.
Yeah.
And I think outrage with no action is just yelling.
Yes.
So anyway, for you to think about...
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.